Yes, people. It's Jacob on the one up top. Different settings. Normally I'm in my living room or in my study, but fortunately for me, with this heat wave, I've got the day off doing the school runs with the kids. So while they're at school, I'm enjoying the weather. As you can see, I've got my breasts out. But yeah, it's a good time to be alive, Before you watch the rest of this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, do what you've normally been doing. I'm 10 subscribers away from the 200 mark, which I've been aiming for. It's all about landmarks and goals. At some point when I start doing my extra content, I hopefully get to the thousands and beyond. So yeah, this episode is an Only Fools in Tottenham with a bit of balance. If I'm going to speak about why I mean balance, is the first thing I want to speak on is briefly the performance. I did a video at the weekend, obviously. If you haven't caught up with that, have a look. I was very content with the performance. I feel that going 1-0 down, the Tottenham that I know, at some point you think to yourself it's going to be one of them Saturdays where you're getting all sorts of banter thrown your way. But for once we stood firm and managed to get a result. Do you know what I mean? And it was an emphatic result in that sense. I generally believe that Burnley played into our hands because they were quite naive in the way that they just kept playing the same way. And like I alluded to before the game, is that they have to be careful that they don't fall into the same sort of territory as a Blackpool that played some great football when they came up, but effectively, if you don't think of a plan B of how to play against the better opposition, you're just going to end up getting beat 5-2. So yeah, it was a good performance. Sonny on the score sheet. I haven't been confident that he was going to get goals that gives him as well as me the confidence that he can go and potentially score 15-20 goals, which we all know he's capable of. It's only 2 seasons ago he got the golden boot with Salah, who for me is arguably one of the all-time greats of the Premier League. So if Sonny can keep up with him in any given season, let alone another one, then we're on to a winner. But I'm not going to talk too much on the result. The reason why I've come out and said I want to do an Only Fools in Tottenham video, one, because it's beautiful weather and I'm enjoying myself, but also, as we all know, the Spurs fan base, I know a lot of people that know what they're talking about, but at the same time, a lot of things can be foolish. So the main thing was to discuss the transfer window. Now, I spent a lot of time looking at people's reactions, what people thought of certain players coming in, going out, all of that stuff, and it's pretty clear there's a major difference between what Spurs fans think. I'm seeing some people saying it's a 9 out of 10 window. For the life of me, I don't understand how you can see this as a perfect window. Now I look at the players that we've got. There's some players that we've brought in, and I think, arguably going to be player of the season, not player of the season, but bargain of the season. So you look at James Maddison, for instance, who we brought in. When we actually signed him, I was genuinely shocked that no one was going for him. We had Arsenal that were looking to get him, and that would have had Odegaard as well as Maddison in the team, so that would have boosted their chances. You had other clubs kind of flirting around him. Man United would be lingered around him. But I generally thought that we wouldn't get him, considering we had no European football. But he's come in, he's been brilliant. Again, another one is a Doji. For me, this guy's going places. We need to I'll go as far as saying, if it was up to me, I'd sign him onto a new contract right now, because the guy's only 20 and he's taking the piss. Going forward, excellent. Going back, he's better than I thought he would be, because a lot of people saying he couldn't defend. But then even coming into the inverted role and coming into midfield and helping out there's times he just picks up the ball and drives forward like he's a central midfielder. He started off brilliantly. But then I think the signings of them two is what overshadows our general window. We see Davinson Sanchez leave yesterday, and I wish him all the best. He's got a lot of stick over the years, myself included. I'm not going to sit there and be one of these fans that wishes him all the best and act like you never give him any stick. Every Spurs fan is capable of giving the guy stick, if you ask me. I do wish him all the best, because I did say, in terms of his mental health, that must be horrible, going into play for a football team where you don't feel the support. Everybody's thinking that you're going to be the reason that you lose, and if you come on and they do lose, it's a problem. But I wish him all the best. Unlike Ndombele, he just comes across like a guy that just wants to get his money and disappear into thin air. I don't know, it's just one of those where I do feel for Davinson Sanchez, but again, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't understand why he was sold and we still got Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer is just he's just not good enough. But like I say, with this transfer window, it's got to the point now where we've got Ashley Williams, Ashley Phillips, and Ben Davies as our centre half pairing should Romero and Van der Ven get injured. You've got Ben Davies also covering centre half and left back. So effectively, if Ben Davies is a centre half, then we've only got one left back because we sold Reguilon to Man United. We've got two right backs that will play one that because they can defend, and we'll play another one because they can attack. But out of all the players in the world, you can't just go and find a right back that does both. Do you know what I mean? We've got two players to be able to kind of figure out what's going on. Central midfield again, but we're a Basuma injury away from going back to the Conte days. There was people hyping up about let's get rid of Højbjerg, but I'm like, if you get rid of Højbjerg and then Basuma gets injured, it's Papa Sarr and Ollie Skip. People are not thinking, but these are people who are telling me that's an 8 out of 10 window. You're looking at Richarlison, he just ain't going to do it, is he? He's not going to do it. Something's going on with my light in here. Yeah, he's not going to do it. Sonny, up until last week, I wasn't confident he could come back, but it's pretty clear that we need to play him centrally. And then for me, if I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of the transfer window, the transfers that we brought in, along with the manager that we've got, clearly indicates that Tottenham are a selling club. And the reason why I say that is because apart from James Maddison, there's no one there that is a clear-cut, ready-made football player. Do you know what I mean? You've got a Doji who, no one can tell me before he came in that he was going to set the world alight like he did. You've got Velez, who's an unknown quantity from Argentina. You've got Ashley Phillips, who's played, 10 games for Blackburn, and all of a sudden he's going to be our third choice. Lloris has gone, Davinson Sanchez has gone, but we've still got Eric Dyer, we've still got Ben Davies. I'll go as far as saying if Richarlison isn't looking good for a year, what makes you think he's going to look good for another? For me, it clearly indicates that we're a club that are still looking to get players, get the best out of them and sell them on for more money. Even with Maddison, we bought him for 40 million. But if he continues the way he is and someone comes in for Maddison, the way he's playing, you could probably get 80 million for him now, the way the football market's going. You've got, we've got Vicario, who's a keeper that looks very good, but then he comes out. Ben Foster's already proved that he's not good enough. At Fulham, he didn't even try and dive for any penalties. So there's still a lot of work to do. So people calling it a 10 out of 10 window is just ridiculous. And like I keep saying, and I'll keep saying it, and I guarantee you by the end of the season I'm completely right, that we've got key players in our team that if they get injured or, suspended or, they've got a flu or something like that, just one person affects everything. So, let's say we come out into the international break and we play Sheffield United unscathed, but then we go into the North London derby on the 24th, and just one player. I'm just looking at every single player that if one of them's injured, the whole fan base is going to have a meltdown. You know, if I go through them all, if the keeper gets injured, are we going to have a meltdown? Yes, because it's Fraser Forster. If Pedro Porro is playing the way he does it, you know, and he attacks against Sheffield United and he gets injured, all of a sudden we're having a meltdown because Emerson Royal's at right back against Arsenal. You know, Romero, if he gets himself sent off, all of a sudden it's Ashley Phillips' first game. Van der Ven, if he gets injured or suspended, all of a sudden Ben Davies is going in the North London derby. Same at left back with Ben Davies. Basuma gets injured, or Papa Sarr, all of a sudden it's Ollie Skip or Højbjerg. Maddison gets injured, we ain't even got a number 10. You know what I mean? Who's going to go into the number 10 position and secure that? Nobody. You got Solomon that did okay against Burnley, to be fair. He grew into the game. You know, Kulusevski gets injured. Who's playing on the right? Because we ain't actually got a natural right midfielder. Like Solomon is a left-sided midfielder. We haven't really got somebody that likes to play on the right. And then if Son gets injured, it's Richarlison. But apparently it's a 10 out of 10 window. Like, for me, it's a 10 out of 10 window, yeah, if you're a selling club. You know what I mean? If I was looking at the signings that we've got with Ange in there and the way we're playing football and the way he's established his style quite quickly, I would be very happy, because you'd look at all the players that we've signed and think Ange is going to improve them all. And then if it gets to the point where playing well, give him a new contract. If we're not playing well, we can sell some of these players for 100 mil. Just the same model as we did with Harry Kane. You know, got him for free, sold him for 100 mil. Daniel Levy's happy we were having a meltdown. You know, these owners don't care about the club. They don't care about anybody, really. The only people that they care about is themselves and them pockets that they line. And a lot of Spurs fans still ain't realising that, because we're spending pence on these particular players. Now, like I keep saying to people, Tottenham Hotspur are the third most profitable sporting organisation in the world. It's not like little bits here and there. We're the third most profitable organisation in the world, but we're spending little bits and bobs on Argentinian strikers that no one's heard of. You know what I mean? We're spending money on, you know, we've had Davinson Sanchez and all these characters in our club for how long? Why? Because Daniel Levy's trying to, you know, he's bought in for 40 million, made the mistake, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to go, all right then, even though he's been crap at Tottenham, we're supposed to appreciate that we need to get that 40 million back. It's just a joke, if I'm honest. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk on, really. That's why I called it Only Fools in Tottenham, because there'll always be a fool within our fan base. You know, I'm not going to sit there and pride myself on being the most intelligent person in the world, but I always see stuff for what it is. But, you know, I'm going to enjoy the international break now. Hopefully we come out unscathed, and then we entertain Sheffield United at home. I sincerely hope we come back from the international break unscathed, as well as coming out of the Sheffield United game unscathed, because we've got a very important game against Arsenal. You know, we never do well there, but, you know, if we're going to have one game a week, if we're going to be having one game a week and you've got a week to prepare for opposition, that puts you in a lot better stead. You know, we've seen Chelsea do it over the years where they haven't been in Europe. The next season they won the league. We've seen Arsenal do it. I think was it last season or the season before, where they didn't have any European football, and managed to have a better season than everybody expected. You know, I'm not going to sit there and say we're going to win the league, but if you've got a whole week to concentrate on Sheffield United, a whole week to concentrate on Arsenal without a Carabao Cup game, an FA Cup game, or a Champions League or Europa game, you've got to be on it. You know what I mean? And as long as we can keep the players fit and we get lucky, we can do quite well this season. And everybody seems to forget that it's the top 5 that get the Champions League football, and that's being realistic. It's not a trophy, but that's something that we need to aim for. You know, if we're going to get 4th or 5th based on the coefficient, England will always be top 5, you know, in terms of qualifying for the Champions League. So, you know, we've got to start taking things seriously. Ange Ball's been nice to watch, but I'm not one of these people that thinks that because we're playing good football like that, that we're just going to go and win every game, because I'm a realist and I understand that if we get injuries or suspensions or, you know, anything of that ilk, all of a sudden you're relying on players to step up who aren't going to get the game time. You know, if Ollie Skip comes in, imagine if Ollie Skip comes in 6 weeks' time. He hasn't been playing for us because we're just playing one game a week. There's no Carabao Cup to get fit in. You're just doing training and all of a sudden you've got to come in. So it's difficult. So we've just got to hope that the starting 11 we've got, they stay injury free. And then when it gets to January, I don't want to have any more stupid windows, because a lot of people are forgetting that African midfield that we've got ain't going to be the African midfield in January, because just like me, as an African man, I'm going to be focusing my attentions on the African Cup of Nations. So, you know what I mean? It could get to the point where if you don't, you know, if we got rid of Højbjerg like everybody's crying about, and then Papa Sarr and Bissouma went to the African Cup of Nations, who's in midfield? Ollie Skip and who? There's no one. So this is what I'm saying. This window hasn't been great because we needed players to bed into the squad so that when the guys go to African Cup of Nations, we're ready. But just in typical Tottenham fashion, the foolish club that we can be, we never get it right, do we? So that's why I always call it only fools in Tottenham. But yeah, that's me now. I'm going to go and enjoy my rest of my afternoon before I go and pick up the kids from school. Hope you lot have a blessed Tuesday. Enjoy the international break. I know I will, because I won't be watching no football. I don't watch England. So I can spend a couple of weeks doing other stuff. But love, peace, and see you guys soon. Jacob on the one up top.